Hi, welcome to Surface. I'm Janine, and I'm going to be sharing with you today the Windswept haircut, one of Surface's five core haircuts. And the Windswept is a to the shoulder or above haircut with some swing layers in it that can be personalized based on the elevation that you use. So to get started, this is my guest, Rachel. And we are going to come to the back here and do a target part to get started. Now Rachel did have an undercut that she is growing out, so we're going to leave that alone and go a little bit above that section. And for target parting, what we're going to be doing is putting our finger to the point where we want the target part to be, and our Surface TK2 comb on the wide side, and dragging that comb over to the finger. It magically goes there and gives you a nice clean parting. Clip this out of our way. And again, on this side, we'll put our finger where the part is going to be, our TK2 comb, and drag it over to the finger for a nice part. I'm going to be working with our 7-inch swivel shear. And the nice thing about this is it's ergonomically correct. So when you want to cut in the direction that the hair is moving, you can go this way to the right, and then you can use your swivel to turn the shear the other way to come down and cut on this end. So this is what we're going to do today. I'm going to just section this out, decide where I want that length to be, and I'm going to use my comb just as a stabilizer, and taking my 7-inch swivel shear, I'm going to go ahead and cut. And as I'm cutting, I'm beveling under, and I'm going a little bit longer as I get over into the red zone. And now to the other side. Again, we're going to cut, beveling under, and staying longer as we get into the red zone. And then we want to check that line. Good. Now we want to take our next section. And again, we're going to do our target parting. My target part this side. And we're going to go ahead and use the shear one more time on this section. We want a nice strong perimeter that the shear will give us, and then we'll move into using the razor. One thing you want to do as well is you want to make sure that you're standing directly behind your section. And so we're going to find our guide, which I see right there, and we're going to go ahead and cut and bevel, working across, and coming down to compensate for our red zone. And then again on this side. All right, now we've got our nice strong perimeter to work with. Now we can get into our swing cutting. Okay, now we're going to take another section. And because this section is above the ear, we're going to go ahead and section out the sides as well. so we can work with the head as a whole. Now we're going to be using our surface razor, and how we're going to be using this is of course to swing cut, so we'll be layering. So with that being said, we want to take our ring finger and put it in the hole of the razor, and using our index finger, using that as a guide to have us do our layering and swing cutting. If we were to just be working on perimeter, we want to hold the razor at the spine with our finger and thumb, and then wrap our other fingers around, and that gives you stabilization so you're not moving the razor up and down like that. But we're going to go ahead and do some swing cutting. And just with a little bit of an elevation, finding my guide, which is right there, I'm going to go underneath and just start shattering in the direction that I want the hair to move. Being careful to make sure you're standing directly behind this section. So if you move over into a diagonal, you're going to be cutting a hole into that red zone. And then on the other side, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to come around underneath and start shattering out. Bringing the red zone back. Now we're going to be moving into the sides. And to start the sides, we're going to switch back over to our shear. And with very light tension, we're going to take our shear and we're going to cut a line into the side while beveling under. Connecting to our back. Here's where it gets a little tricky if you're a right-hander. You want to get that comb up out of your way and kind of stand behind the section for easier cutting. And you're going to go ahead and cut while beveling. Cut while beveling. Okay. So let's target part the sides here for this next section. Moving around the back. And picking up our razor, titanium surface razor, we're going to start in the back here. And we're going to elevate just a little bit more. We want a little bit more softness with Rachel's cut. And I'm going to go ahead and go underneath, and I'm going to shatter in the direction I want the hair to move. making sure you're standing directly behind your section that you're cutting. And then as we move to the sides, this first section we're going to go ahead and take, and we're going to use 0 elevation and just kind of take it where the hair lives, and we're going to shatter lightly, swing cutting in the direction we want the hair to move. If you notice, I'm standing ear to body, straight 90 degree, right behind the section that I'm cutting. Same thing on this side, coming from underneath, do a shatter, swinging in the direction that we want the hair to move. I'm going to continue sections around Rachel's head, and when I get to the very last section, then we'll pick up there with our framing technique. Now that we've gotten through all of our sections, we have our last section here where we are combing Rachel's hair down where it lives. And this is where we're going to do some vertical framing into the hair. And basically what that means is we're going to take a section, and we're going to go in higher than what we were doing before, and we're just going to lightly do vertical strokes down to the perimeter. Do the other side. Now when we get into the sides, we want to be careful to not do vertical framing, especially when we get onto the side where the part leaves less hair. So here we're just going to do a slight elevation and just do some swing cutting. Shattering in the direction we want the hair to move. Now this side, it is a little bit more heavy, so I feel like we could do a little bit of vertical framing here. Just to take out some of that weight. Now we're going to move to framing of the face. We're going to start on this side where Rachel has the least amount of hair. That way we can be sure we don't take too much from this side. And what we're going to do is comb down just the front section, and we're going to come around from the back and going down to about her lip line and start walking the shear towards the center while beveling in. Giving her a nice frame around her face. And before we cut the frame on this side, we're going to go ahead and compression cut her bangs. First we need to wet her down a little bit. Using the Awaken Mist. Finding her bang. somebody does not have a bang and you're trying to figure out how much bang to give them, there's a thing you can do with your comb. Put it up against their forehead and rock it once right there. That'll be a very light fringe. You rock it twice, be right here with a medium fringe. Rock it one more time to number 3, which will give you a very heavy fringe. So with Rachel, we're doing a medium-sized fringe for her. Now, the compression cut, we're going to comb her hair to the opposite side. And we're going to bring it together. You can see. And I'm going to take my swivel shear. I'm going to go ahead and cut that to compression cut. And that gives a nice diagonal flow to her fringe. Now we're going to clip that out of the way, and we're going to go ahead and frame this side. And we can create a cheater's guide. Basically what you want to do is take down the area where you started, take this side, and you cut, and that gives you a cheater's guide where to start. So taking a section in front of the ear, you're going to come in above your fingers, right around the lip line, and we're going to start walking our shear, fluttering our thumb, moving towards the center, and bubbling in. Now, another thing we want to do with Rachel's fringe is to take some weight out of it. And how we do that, again, we're pulled to the side, opposite side of where it's going to live. We're going to take our razor and we're going to weave it in, out, and we're just going to lightly bring it up against the section on the top and just drag it lightly across, just to take out a little bit of weight of the fringe. And to even soften that up even more, we're going to take our RZ fine blender, combing down the fringe, and right on the ends of the bang, which, let me turn it so you can see what I'm doing. We're going to just do a tap, tap, and that just softens out that fringe for us. And lastly, what we're going to do with Rachel is we want to soften the corner here, and what we're going to do with that, we're going to bring the hair up. We're going to do this with our razor. Bring the hair up over the part, and where you see the corner, you're just going to lightly shatter that off. Slightly shatter that off. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and style Rachel, and we'll be back. So this is Rachel, here, and her final style. And the products that we use in her today, I use my favorite mousse, which is the Awaken Protein Mousse. And then we use some Reflect Gel for a nice blow dry gel, and also to give her a little bit of hold with her style. So as you can see, she has some nice movement in her hair. we're gonna have a little bit of fun right now just to kind of show you a new product we have, which is our Taffy Wax Finishing Spray, and show that we can get some texture into this style as well. So we're just gonna spray it up and around. And it does spray on white, and then once you get your hands in there, it melts into the hair. And it gives it some awesome, awesome texture. Not feeling sticky at all. And that's Rachel. Thank you.